What's going on, guys? Aero here, and guys, today I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about Super Mario Odyssey. Now, as we all know, Super Mario Odyssey is the big new Mario game that's going to be coming out on Nintendo Switch later this year, and this is definitely a game that's generated a lot of hype within the Nintendo community. Now, I'm sure we can all agree that when we saw this game being played for the first time at the Nintendo Switch presentation back in like January, we were all shocked at how amazing this game looks. I mean, the quality and the graphics of this game just look really amazing, but just besides all of that, the game is going to be a really fun game from the looks of it because of how Mario is going to be going back to the open world 3D sandbox type of game that was like in Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, because right now all of the Mario games that we've gotten so far have been pretty linear. Like for the 3D Mario games like Super Mario 3D World and Super Mario 3D Land, they've all been pretty linear even though that they're considered 3D, so it's going to be really cool to have an open world 3D game again where we can go in all sorts of directions and explore whatever we want. So that's what a lot of people are looking really hyped to. Now, in almost every single Mario game, a big part of the game involves the worlds. There are usually a number of worlds that Mario has to go through, and then he has to beat all of the levels that are in the world so that he can encounter the boss at the end of the world, beat the boss, and move on to the next world. And there are a bunch of worlds that Mario has to go through, and then in the end he'll encounter the last world where he'll have to beat Bowser, and then once he beats Bowser, he'll rescue Peach. This has been the formula that Mario games have been using for a really long time, and there haven't been many Mario games where there aren't different worlds or something along those lines, and so it's pretty much just expected that a Mario game is going to have worlds. Now, the easiest way to tell if you're in a new world in a Mario game is by checking the environment around you. Every single world in a Mario game always has like a different type of environment than the other worlds that are in the game, and so you can tell if you're in a new environment and you see different changes that you're in a new Mario world. So like we've seen worlds in Mario games that have like ice covered all over them and it's like snowing and stuff. We've seen like a forest Mario world where it's like a jungle environment and trees everywhere. We've also seen worlds in Mario games that are even in the clouds or like the mountains. So it's really easy to tell if you can see like you're in a new environment, that you're in a new world in a Mario game. So obviously when the Super Mario Odyssey trailer was shown off for the very first time at the Nintendo Switch presentation way back in January, we all saw the different types of environments that Mario was in. We saw one where it was like just a city, and like we learned later that it was called New Donk City, but we saw that whole city environment where like Mario was just walking around with actual like people, and it was a whole city with like taxis and stuff driving everywhere. We saw that like sandy area where we saw Mario doing like wearing like a sombrero and stuff. We saw like that whole Mexican style type of area in like the sandy world. We also saw like a little bit in the trailer where he was in like this jungle area and there were like watering cans and stuff everywhere. So it's really easy to tell that Mario is going to have different worlds in this game as well. Now, at this year's E3, we got to learn a lot more about Super Mario Odyssey because of all of the new information that was shown off, as well as all of the discussions that people were able to have with the game's producer, Mr. Yoshiaki Koizumi. So by being the producer of the game, Mr. Koizumi obviously has a lot of knowledge on Super Mario Odyssey, and so we were able to learn a handful of new things by having all the people that asked him questions and hearing Mr. Koizumi's responses. And so the one big thing that we actually learned about Super Mario Odyssey is that it's not actually going to have worlds, but rather kingdoms. So, Mr. Koizumi explained how everything that happens in Super Mario Odyssey is going to be taking place in one world, but Mario's going to have many different kingdoms that are going to be in this world, and he's going to be able to go through all of these kingdoms by traveling in the Odyssey. And we learned how the Odyssey is like this hat-shaped vehicle that you're going to be able to get into as Mario, and then this Odyssey is what's going to be able to travel you across to the different kingdoms that are going to be in this world. Now, in every single kingdom that you go to, you're going to be looking for moons, and you're also going to be encountering bosses and enemies and stuff, and once you have enough moons, you're going to be able to power the Odyssey to take you on to the next kingdom. So obviously the kingdoms are going to be like the worlds of previous Mario games because of how each kingdom has like a different environment and stuff. Like we've seen the kingdoms that are like the sand like area where it's like a desert, and then we've seen ones where it's like a forest and stuff. So these kingdoms are basically like the previous Mario games worlds, and so we've definitely seen different types of environments and stuff, and so now we already know that there's going to be different types of kingdoms in Super Mario Odyssey, but we don't know how many there are going to be. Obviously the producer Mr. Koizumi knows this, but he's not going to tell us because he wouldn't want us to spoil that, or like he wouldn't want to spoil that for us, and he would want us to figure that out when we get the game for ourselves. But many people can probably just predict and say that we're probably going to see 8 worlds or 8 kingdoms in this game because of how in previous Mario games there have always been 8 worlds. In almost every Mario game that we've had where you've like traveled to different worlds and stuff, 8 has always been the number of how many worlds there are. So that's what many people are saying, but like I said before, there's no way for us to definitively have an answer until one big piece of information was found, and that is the map of Super Mario Odyssey. Now, as we all know, the whole purpose of this game of Super Mario Odyssey is like the journey of like exploring through all these different places in the world. So this map is like going to be showing us where all of the different locations are in the game, and so this map is going to be the biggest piece of evidence that we have to how many kingdoms are going to be in this game. So I'm going to put up the map for you guys on screen right now. So here you go, guys. This is the map of Super Mario Odyssey. I'm not even sure how someone managed to find this, because this is actually something that tells us a lot about the game, and I don't even know if Nintendo would want us to know this much information about the game because of how this map is already labeled. Now you guys can see right here that there is text that's written on this map, and so we actually can see many locations that are already labeled on it. But the one thing that I'm sure a lot of you guys can tell is that this map is very hard to see. I mean, even though there's text on it and stuff, you really have to look very closely to see if you can point out some stuff. So I'm going to try to do some editing magic and see if I can make this map look a little bit more clear and make it easy for us to point stuff out. So just give me 1 second and I'll come right back. Alright, so you guys can see right here that this edited version of the map is much more clear than the map that we were looking at before. And you can see that all of the text that's written on this map is much easier for us to read, and they have all of the kingdoms actually labeled on this map as well. And so since that's what this video is about, that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about, all of the kingdoms that are on this map. But there's actually a lot of other stuff that's written on this map as well, and so if you guys want to actually check out this map for yourself and look at all the stuff that's on here, I'll have a link to the edited version of the map in the description below, and I'll also have a link to the original map file as well, so you guys can go and check that out for yourselves. But yeah, let's start talking about these kingdoms that are on the map. Now the first one that I want to talk to you guys about is on the bottom right, and so if we look at the bottom right of this map, we have a kingdom that is labeled the Metro Kingdom. So now the Metro Kingdom is pretty obvious for us to figure out. This is the kingdom that we saw in the very first Super Mario Odyssey trailer. This is going to be like that really big city like area where we've seen New Donk City and stuff, and we've seen Mario with like taxis everywhere. We've seen people walking around and stuff. So that's probably what the Metro Kingdom is going to be. That looks really cool. I think it's a very unique type of world in a Mario game, so I can't wait to check out that and explore more of that in detail. We've already seen like in the gameplay from E3 and stuff that the Metro Kingdom is home to a lot of like different alleys and stuff that you can go and explore, so there's definitely going to be a lot of stuff to check out there. Now just above that, we have something that is labeled the Luncheon Kingdom. Now the Luncheon Kingdom, I'm pretty sure, is a kingdom that Nintendo hasn't really talked about that much, but they've actually tweeted one picture and something a little bit about the Luncheon Kingdom. So if I can find that tweet, I'll put it up on screen for you guys. But the Luncheon Kingdom is like that really colorful kingdom that we saw in the very first Super Mario Odyssey trailer, where like everything is made up of food and stuff. So I think that this is still going to be a pretty interesting kingdom as well. I can't wait to see what the enemies are going to be like in this game. There's probably going to be some new and unique enemies, so I can't wait to see what the Luncheon Kingdom is going to be like. It's definitely a colorful like kingdom, and we haven't seen this type of kingdom that much in like a Mario game, so that looks like a pretty interesting kingdom. And yeah, if we move on a little bit to the left side, we have a kingdom that is labeled the Wooded Kingdom. So now the Wooded Kingdom isn't really that hard to figure out either. The Wooded Kingdom is like that really big forest kingdom that we saw, where like Mario's walking in the forest and there's like a whole bunch of really tall trees everywhere. So that's pretty cool. We've also seen some gameplay of the Wooded Kingdom from the E3 presentation of Super Mario Odyssey, so I'll put up a little bit of that as well on screen for you guys. And yeah, you guys can see right here that this is going to be like that kingdom with the watering cans and like the really dark sort of theme with the forest and stuff. So that looks pretty interesting. I think the enemies are really cool as well, especially that one enemy that can go like really tall and then come back down. I think that that's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to see the other enemies they have, so that's cool. And then the one below it we have is called the Sand Kingdom. So this is really obvious. The Sand Kingdom is going to be like that kingdom that we've seen where it's like a desert, and we've seen Mario riding that line around the desert and stuff. So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, I think that this is going to be cool. We've also seen that like little Mexican style town inside of the Sand Kingdom as well, where we've seen the locals have like the maracas and the sombreros and stuff, so that's pretty cool. I can't wait to look a little bit more into the Sand Kingdom. And yeah, now if we just move on to the top, we have two more kingdoms. Now the one that we have at the very top is called the Cascade Kingdom. Now the Cascade Kingdom, I don't think we've seen that much information about it or heard about it, so there's not really that much to know about it. But the thing about this kingdom is that at the very top it's labeled Fossil Falls. Now the reason that I'm saying that Fossil Falls is pretty significant is because I'm pretty sure we've already seen Fossil Falls. Now if you guys remember in the E3 Super Mario Odyssey trailer where we saw Mario standing on top of like that waterfall where like there was like a Triceratops monument or something around it as well, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be considered Fossil Falls. So I think that that's all going to fall within the Cascade Kingdom. So that looks like a pretty colorful kingdom with like mountains and stuff, so that looks pretty interesting as well. And then just below that we have another kingdom which is labeled the Cap Kingdom. Now the Cap Kingdom, I'm pretty sure we haven't seen any information about it, and so yeah, I can't really talk much about that, but it looks pretty interesting as well. And so yeah, if we count up all of the kingdoms that are labeled on this map, we have a total of 6. So now I think 6 kingdoms is a pretty big number. That's a lot of kingdoms. I know some people might be a little bit disappointed because of how Mario games usually have 8 worlds and there's only 6 in this game, but I mean, we've seen that before. Like if you remember New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS, that game only had 6 main worlds, but there were also some like bonus worlds and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure that they could do something like that in this game. Maybe we'll see like a bonus kingdom or something after we've defeated Bowser, or if there's just like a hidden bonus kingdom somewhere on the map. But I think that either way, 6 kingdoms is totally fine by me. And I think the one thing that we've all seen from Super Mario Odyssey and all of the gameplay is that this game, all of the kingdoms are packed with content. There's so much stuff to do in all of these kingdoms that I think that there's just going to be so many hours of gameplay in each of these kingdoms that it really doesn't even matter if there's only going to be 6. I think 6 is going to have so much more gameplay, and I think it's totally fine, because if they had 8 kingdoms but not that much gameplay within them and not much exploring, then I wouldn't be that happy. I think 6 kingdoms, if we have a lot of stuff to do in them and a lot of cool things to explore, I think that that's totally fine. So I think that 6 kingdoms is a pretty good number. Maybe there's probably going to be like a hidden kingdom somewhere as well, but I think 6 kingdoms is totally fine. I can't wait to learn more about these kingdoms. I think we've already seen a good amount of like the Sand Kingdom, the Wooded Kingdom, and the Metro Kingdom, but I really want to learn a lot more about the Luncheon Kingdom and the Cascade Kingdom, and especially what the Cap Kingdom is. I don't think we've seen anything about the Cap Kingdom, so I can't wait to see more information about all of that. And yeah guys, I'm just looking really hyped to this game. I can't wait to play it and explore all the stuff that's going to be in Super Mario Odyssey. And so yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to click that like button. It really does help me out, and comment what you guys think of all of this down below as well. Do you guys think that there's going to be 6 kingdoms? Do you guys think that there could be hidden kingdoms or more kingdoms that we don't know about? Definitely leave me all of your thoughts down below. And if you guys are new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I've got a lot of cool Nintendo content coming out, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And go follow me on Twitter at Aero. I'm always able to reply to everyone on Twitter, so definitely go and follow me there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.